Hello and welcome to Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Justin. I am one of your hosts today. Sitting next to me is my good, esteemed friend and colleague, Tony. And today we will be talking about the new Star Wars trailer that has dropped and literally broke the internet. We're talking about that, and then Tony will be talking about...
I have news.
He has news.
I have news.
And some reporting to do on MLG this past weekend.
It was MLG's 100th event.
100.
So I watched it.
So we're going to talk about those things. So, heads up, there's probably going to be some fan theories and potential spoilers, if I'm correct, over the Star Wars trailer. So, if you don't want to hear speculation, don't listen to this podcast. But listen to our other stuff, because it'll be good.
It's speculation. So, not technically
Spoilers.
A spoiler. The only way it would be a spoiler is if we had the script.
That's true.
And if we had the script, I don't know.
Then I would sell it on eBay for thousands of dollars.
Probably wouldn't be doing this.
Probably not. All right. Play the music.
Okay.
And we're back.
First on my news roster.
The news. In the news.
Recently there's a Godzilla movie that came out with Bryan Cranston and other people I don't know.
Whoa, Bryan Cranston? You mean
Hal...
the drug dude? The drug lord?
Hal White.
The physics
Walter White.
teacher? Walter White. Yeah.
I don't know what Malcolm's last name was. I don't think they ever show it.
I don't know what it is.
Hal in the Middle.
I've seen more Breaking Bad than I've seen Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle is a good show. Breaking Bad is also a good show. And Hal and Bryan Cranston's in both of them. Bryan Cranston was in a Christmas movie, just found out recently. Mm-hmm. He played Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one. I think it was a Disney movie. An original Disney movie. Anyway, so Godzilla came out, was pretty popular. He had that atomic breath.
He did.
Was probably the coolest part.
The atomic breath was epic.
Was that right in the beginning of the... I haven't seen it. Was that right in the beginning?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Did he, blow his load right in the first, 10 minutes?
Gross.
His atomic load of breath?
All I know is Bryan Cranston...
died.
Is an awesome actor. He's becoming much more popular. I think he's getting some respect for his acting ability. He dies in, the first 20 minutes of that movie, so...
I don't think he's... I think he was really popular when he was in Breaking Bad. Yeah. And now he hasn't done anything.
Well... There is reports of Marvel, the universe. I don't know if you...
The whole universe!
The whole universe of Marvel has reached out to Bryan. And apparently there's some rumor coming around that Marvel's going to create a bad guy centered around Bryan Cranston.
This is the news from last week that I told you that you're just repeating?
I am repeating last week's news.
However, Bryan Cranston said that he would be in a Marvel movie if they specifically made...
A character
for him.
Yeah.
Which would be cool. But, I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, Godzilla came out. They're going to make a new King Kong movie, which is somewhat old news.
I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about that?
I watch Godzilla. Don't really care about King Kong. Last one I saw was that 3.5 hour long one with Jack Black.
Yeah.
So that was lame.
At this point, I'm kind of done with big monster movies. I don't know.
Monster Mash.
It's the Monster Mash. Happy Halloween, everyone, in advance or in the past, depending on when you...
Well, right now, if you're listening to this right now.
If you're listening to this on Halloween, Happy Halloween. Which it's not... We're not there yet. We're close, though.
Well, if you're listening to this on Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays to everyone, whenever you're watching this.
Happy Friday. All right.
Happy Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yerg! And Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I can't wait for that.
All of them.
Yep. So,
anyway, King Kong Skull Island is coming out in March 10th of 2017.
Okay.
So I think they're rebooting it again.
So many reboots.
I guess. King Kong doesn't really have a big story, as far as I know.
I mean, I think the story is...
He climbs the Empire State Building and swats some planes.
Yeah, he's a gorilla.
And loves a girl.
And he's a giant gorilla.
It's making sense.
I mean...
however, there's going to be a sequel to Godzilla 2, which is going to come out in 2018. And then Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh my gosh.
In 2020. Now, from what I've seen, Godzilla is huge. And King Kong is big for a monkey.
Big for a gorilla.
Big for an ape. However, not anywhere comparable to King Kong.
I feel like Godzilla has atomic breath.
Yes.
Is a giant reptile god from Japan.
Yep.
Beats a giant monkey. That's my prediction.
I think some people have slated it because on Skull Island is where King Kong has a secret base of operations.
Secret base of operations.
So he's hanging out there. People might say that Godzilla is going to go out to Skull Island, and then he'll fight King Kong on his home turf.
Whoa! We just did that. That happened.
That was not practiced.
That was not practiced. That just shows.
So that's what I think it is. However, Godzilla did really well, so I think they're hoping that King Kong does really well as well.
Yeah. Is it so? It's the same company producing?
Maybe.
All right. We don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
No. It's not. It's Legendary Films and also Warner Brothers.
Right.
So it's two different production companies, but they're coming together to make the Versus movie.
Sweet.
So that could be cool.
So King Kong, giant monkeys fighting.
Yep.
Sounds like Congress. Oh, not as funny as I thought it would be. That's okay.
All right. So
moving forward.
One of my favorite games when I was a child was Ratchet and Clank.
Yes.
And they are making a movie based off the video game.
I can already tell that you're
Ratchet
very
Clank.
excited about this.
I don't know yet. The tagline is like, the movie based off the game, and then they're going to make a video game about it. So it's like, the movie based off the game, off the video game. Blah, 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 blah.
It's going to be reverse logic.
Inception, something like that.
It is Inception. Which layer of the dream are you on? You don't know.
I don't know.
Play the game.
Anyway, the trailer came out for the new movie, which looks really good. It looks, it's like Insomniac Games makes Ratchet and Clank. And
yeah.
They make it for PS4. And everyone knows that video games generally last longer than movies, right?
Most of the time.
And there's more things in video games than there are in movies. A movie is like 2.5 hours, and that's a long movie. A 10-hour video game is like short, almost.
So we're talking about amount of time spent being entertained?
No, I'm just talking
about like the social impact.
Specifically,
because there are some movies that have way longer impacts and like last longer than video games.
I'm just saying, if people make a video game for a 10-hour time slot and they have to make graphics and like worlds and all that stuff for 10 hours, super easy for them to just do it for a 2.5-hour movie. True. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I got you.
So I watched the trailer, and Ratchet and Clank has like 7 or 8 games out. Like, this is the 7th or 8th franchise. Wow. However, the movie is an origin story of Ratchet and Clank and how they met.
Interesting.
That's what it looks like so far, which is really interesting to me.
So they're trying to reboot the whole series?
I think they're rebooting the whole series to try to garner more fans. Because we're kind of in this generation right now where there's video game movies coming out. Wreck-It Ralph did really well.
I'm going to wreck it!
So, Ratchet and Clank, they might just be... Because I think there's people that might see it like me that has played the games. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. But there's also younger kids that it's geared towards that have never played the games before. So like, oh, Ratchet and Clank, that's so cool. I didn't know this was a video game.
Yeah, and then now, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I think it's the same sort of situation as when Disney takes over Star Wars, and then they start Star Wars Rebels, that cartoon. Mm-hmm. Like, the point of that is to reach the younger generations. They already have the older generations of fans, so it sounds like that franchise is doing a similar strategies that is, like, targeting multiple generations through this.
It sounds like Ratchet and Clank, it looks like they're rebranding to a younger audience. However, not as a video game, as a movie. So they'll see Ratchet and Clank as these movie characters that they play as a video game, as opposed to video game characters for the older generation that you watch in the movie. So it's very interesting.
Do you think that it's possible to be able to, I don't know, get to know and love a character in the same way in a video game and in a movie?
No. Because
they're different mediums, obviously. And with a game you're playing and you're being more actively using a character. So I'm wondering, this is more like a psychological thing, but how much can someone grow to feel connected to a character through a movie versus through a video game?
Well, Disney and Pixar always do it incredibly, right?
They're very good. They're good at what they do.
So you can connect like that, but that's different. Really, the only times you connect to a character in a video game is during those storyline missions, when you see them as something other than you control.
Yeah.
I think. So
maybe. I mean, I feel like people feel connected to Mario, even though he like has no storyline. I mean, he does save the princess, but beyond that,
not that Super Mario 64. He doesn't talk or anything, but there's always this and this and this and this. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. When I watched the trailer, I'm like, it's interesting that they're rebooting this. Mm-hmm. It seems like they're doing it for a younger audience that doesn't know it's a video game. Yeah. That was my impression.
Yeah, well, maybe you listeners out there, if you have a thought about which medium is better for getting to know and loving a character, tweet at us. Let us know.
There was a Forbes list of top 10 YouTube
Stars. Making money.
That made money.
Yes. We both saw this article this week.
So there's obviously PewDiePie, who is the highest grossing YouTube star.
He's like the biggest star.
He's like 40. He has like 40 million subs. Right.
It's ridiculous.
So I just found this out. He used to do Call of Duty videos.
Yep.
And then now he does, I think how they explain it, profanity-laden video game.
Yeah, that's how they referenced it in the article. Yeah.
So,
which is kind of fun.
So PewDiePie is the most. He makes about $12 million a year just based on
making videos,
advertisement income. I assume.
Yeah, just through the YouTube site.
So not even streaming,
which is ridiculous.
Which I haven't seen him stream, but I assume.
Yep.
Smosh.
I love Smosh.
Who I never watched.
Right. And
I thought Smosh died out a long time ago. But I guess they have like 5 different YouTube channels.
Yeah, they're very active. I think I really feel that there's a community of YouTubers that all have these big subscriber pools that all work together on lots of projects. So I've seen Smosh on Epic Rap Battle of History. I've seen them in other shows being featured by like cooking stars, like whatever. They're just like showing up in like one YouTube video. And so I think another thing is a lot of these YouTube like personalities are branching off into multiple channels, each channel having its own like unique maybe niche in the YouTube market, I guess. But
I don't know, if I had a YouTube channel and I only had 100,000 subscribers, but I had a really good YouTube channel, I'd want to get Smosh on my channel that has like 12 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So that way when they make a video, they're like, oh, I was on this guy's channel.
Yeah, check it out. And then boom, you've just got a ton of stuff.
Right. Smosh, there's just a movie made about Smosh. Titled Smosh the Movie. Came out in July.
Smosh the Movie?
I think it's on Netflix. Also other places. The Fine Brothers, who I love their channel. They have the blank react to. So kids react, elders react, teens react.
Oh, I love those videos.
So I love those videos. I didn't realize they were doing so well, but those videos are fantastic.
They are. I remember I just recently watched a elders play through like the prologue or the elderly response to the prologue of The Last of Us. And they play through.
No, was it elderly too? Because I saw there was like
it was like grandmas and grandpas.
Teens.
No,
I saw teens play it too.
It was old people because it was really funny because one of the ladies she didn't realize that the game had transitioned from a cutscene to actually playable.
Oh yeah.
After like the truck like gets knocked over in the street in the prologue, and she's like, "Why are you standing there? Just go, just go." I was like, "Oh my gosh, pick up the controller and move the stick." And then she eventually dies. It's on easy mode, but she eventually dies because you can't just stand there. So. That was fun. I love those videos. Those are great.
Other people, Lindsay Sterling, Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, KSI, Michelle Fawn.
Yeah.
Lily Singh.
I had never heard of her.
I don't know who that is. She toured. She had a tour. Roman Atwood, who does like a prank channel.
Uh-huh. I've seen that.
And then some other people, I don't know. So, Forbes has been doing this recently where they've been getting into the YouTube video game market. Mm-hmm. And I think they even have like an entertainment section of Forbes specifically for video games and YouTube, which is super nice that that's getting attention. Because some news channels don't even care.
They don't, but
it's a huge market in video games and
really
YouTube, so it makes sense that Forbes would be all over it.
I think this kind of ties back to our episode about best time being a gamer. I really do think that as gaming is getting bigger, all these huge companies, all of these. Just popular culture is starting to embrace the fact that almost every single person is a gamer. Everybody has mobile phones, for the most part. Most people have smartphones. And they play games on them. And then that makes you a gamer. Like, that's as simple as it is.
I don't know if that makes you a gamer. I think that means you play video games.
No, I mean...
Like, if someone's playing Candy Crush, I'm like, you're a gamer. I'm like, it's cool that you play Candy Crush. I don't like that.
Well, I still would consider them a gamer. Even if you only play mobile games, I still think that you're a gamer. I don't think you're a hardcore gamer. I don't think that you're like a super intense one, and I'm kind of judging you a little bit because that. But I think like old people, like older people, moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, like a lot of them have these smartphones.
Okay, so sometimes the Wii, as we talked about in a previous episode, the Wii sold incredibly well.
Right.
So we have like grandmas playing Wii bowling. Does that make them a gamer? Or is that just making them playing video games?
Well, I would say if they're seeking out to play the game on their own time, then that makes them a gamer. Like if that's a hobby that you spend time on a regular basis, then you're a gamer. Okay. So like somebody who plays Candy Crush or somebody who plays loves these mobile games and they just play them all the time, I would consider them a gamer. Maybe a casual gamer, but
okay,
a gamer.
2 Star Wars things that came out.
2. Oh my. Oh,
if you hold on.
Okay, I'm bottling you back up.
There was a poster. There's also a trailer. We're gonna talk about that later.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Nolan North has finally finished motion capping for Uncharted 4.
Yes.
Neil Druckerman, I think is his name, tweeted it out. This was like a week or 2 ago. So they're still polishing the game, putting it all on there, but he's officially done. And I think this is the last Uncharted. So a little sad that he's done. At least maybe last Uncharted for Nolan North. I know Troy Baker is in this one as his brother, as his older brother, I think. So I don't see him coming back. But who knows?
I still have yet to play any
of them.
Uncharted game.
You're the worst.
I think I read an article, or did we talk about this last week? Where there's like Uncharted, while it has a huge following, is one of those franchises that is that time to talk about Star Wars? Is that what that means?
No, that means that Hutch is now playing Halo 3 or Halo 5 on Twitch.
Gotcha.
Got my phone.
I totally lost myself. Oh yeah, Uncharted. Apparently,
it's like 80% of PlayStation owners haven't played Uncharted.
Yeah, it's something dumb like that. I feel dumb for not playing it because I've only heard great things about it, but it's just not one of those things that I've been super excited. Like I'm going to go out and play Uncharted. Like
that's why they released the Nathan Drake collection.
I even think that there was one point a few years ago that you told me to borrow it. Like you offered to let me borrow it, and I just didn't borrow it. And I don't know what it was.
That and Infamous.
Yeah.
So my 2 favorite games on the PS3, Infamous and Uncharted. And you're like, nah, I don't want to.
I will say, I mean, Infamous 1 and 2 I had trouble getting into, but the newest Infamous I really did enjoy.
Second Son?
Second Son.
See, that's so weird because the first 2 are better.
See, I don't know.
Except for maybe 1. 1 can be a little tedious. 2 is awesome. See, you get ice powers and you get fire powers.
See, that's what happened with Infamous 1 is that it got to the point with Infamous 1 where I was like, I'm done. This is so dumb. It felt very tedious. It was the same thing over and over again. Kind of a cool concept, but I was like, I'll just play a different superhero game.
Well, Infamous 1, they have all these side missions that are very tedious.
Yeah. But
the story missions aren't. But the side missions are really easy to do, which I think is why I get trapped into doing them over and over again.
Yeah.
Infamous 1 and 2, I think are the only games I like platinum.
Mm-hmm.
Trophy-wise. It means give you all the trophies.
Yeah, I know what platinum means.
But not everybody does.
Listeners, platinum on PlayStation means you 100%ed it.
Sword Art Online 2 is on Netflix now. You tried to watch Sword Art Online 1, and you didn't like it because you're insane.
Wait, you like Sword Art Online?
It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
As a gamer, I love it.
Look.
The whole point of Sword Art Online is that you're playing this MMO, and then you get trapped in the game, and when you die in the game, you die in real life. So you level up.
Essentially, it's not a game anymore. It's
still a game because you're still in this fantasy world. You still have all these powers, with swords and magic and all this stuff.
But it's not for fun.
And the whole way to beat, it can be fun. The whole way to beat to get out is to beat the main boss, who is also the creator of the game.
Yeah.
And the fantasy world then becomes a real world. So there's this one part of the episode where you can go to vendors and buy bread. Or buy cooked meat, and you eat it, and it tastes like salt, and it's gross.
Yeah.
However, if you take all the ingredients and make it yourself, and raise up your cooking level, then you can make awesome food.
Nice.
So there's all this immersion. For some reason, you don't like it, and I hate you for it.
Don't hate me for it.
It's too late,
Tony. We're friends.
No, not anymore.
Don't forget. Look,
business partners, and that's it.
I have wow. I'm really feeling it. I didn't know this was coming today.
I didn't know either.
It was buried underneath the layers and layers.
Sword Art Online 1 is awesome, and it's in English. Sword Art Online 2 is only subtitled in English, so it's a little more difficult to watch.
I feel like I gave Sword Art Online a pretty good run. I gave it 6 or 7 episodes. That's more than I usually... Usually my rule is 3. I give you 3 episodes to get me in. If someone has told me that it's going to be a good show, and they've recommended, I will give it up to 3. If I'm just browsing for fun, I'll watch the first episode. I gave it 6 or 7... And I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't connect. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I've had trouble connecting with anime like I did in high school. And I've never been a huge anime nut job, but I have Fullmetal Alchemist. I've liked some of the mainstream classic ones like the old Gundam stuff.
Dragon Ball Z,
Cowboy Bebop. I love Cowboy. See, you already know.
I do know. That's why I'm so much more mad at you.
So I've had trouble connecting because I don't know why. But I have plenty of friends who love anime, who love every single anime ever, and it's fine. But I don't know.
I'm having a very emotional reaction.
I know you are.
Something that you didn't know was going to happen.
You caught me off guard, man.
Anyway, Sword Art Online is awesome. I love it. Justin despises it.
I think despise it.
You quit watching it after my favorite episode.
Actually, I think it was. That might be why you hate me so much about it.
Because
you were like, man, this episode's so good, and then I watched it and I was like, this isn't even that great.
I'm so upset.
I really don't like it that much.
StarCraft. In Korea, StarCraft 2, there were some match-fixing arrests by some people. So they were fixing matches. They were paid to lose.
Oh, my gosh. What's this world coming to? We can't trust a video game tournament? What can we trust?
Arrests and lifetime bans. So there's a couple people. I think it's Team Liquid StarCraft. It's all in South Korea.
Oh, my gosh.
It gives off a whole bunch of names of players, but because I don't play StarCraft, I don't know them.
Yeah.
Also, it's in Korean. There are U.S. dollar amounts in this, so I don't understand if it's in U.S. dollars or if it's in whatever they use in South Korea.
Korean versions of dollars?
Korean dollars.
Which might be called Korean dollars. I have no idea.
Anyway, one guy reportedly lost a game through his match to receive $4,500 for one match. So that's a good amount. There's another guy that was supposed to lose 2 games and got $26,000.
Wow.
To lose those 2. So that's a lot of money.
However,
is a lot of money. There is a Korean esports organization, which I think does all this.
Yeah. It's like a version of MLG that they have.
I think it's like legal actions. It's not like a streaming service. I think it's like
a watchdog organization,
like the police, like the esports police.
Esports police.
Anyway, they lifetime banned them for the rest of the tournaments that they could play as.
Yeah.
And other things like that. I'm not that into StarCraft, but I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah, I used to watch StarCraft all the time.
You played it.
I did.
You have it right there.
I do have it. I think there's a 3rd expansion that's out
in
already.
A dusty box.
I played when StarCraft 2 first came out. I was all about it for a couple months, and I played competitively, and I watched I watched streamers all the time, and
your old roommate couldn't get past the lowest level.
And I'm glad I edited out his name, and that took me like 2 hours to edit out his name, but
it also took you like 3 weeks.
It did. Well, it took me 3 weeks to even try.
Yeah.
And then I finally did it. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people fail miserably at that game. I'm definitely not the best out of my friends who play, but
if I played it, I would fail.
I'd probably destroy you in StarCraft, but
you would. I have seen videos and I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think there's a way I could beat you that would be so humiliating that I'm not going to do it though.
I wouldn't be humiliated because I wouldn't know what happened.
You would know why it's humiliating when I beat you. Regardless, that's some sketchy stuff going on in Korea.
It was an organization, but I think it was only 2 players. But they got paid to lose the games.
Yeah. And
then they got caught. Now they're banned for lifetime. And almost
was there legal action taken against them?
I think they might have been arrested.
Because that might be like game fiction. Like I don't know what laws there are about it and how video games are treated as compared to like other sporting events, but you can't like do fraud. Like you can't be fraudulent about what you're doing.
Oh, they're also getting sued for damages against the organization's reputation.
Oh, that's some legal action. Boom.
This also happened to some Counter-Strike teams recently in January.
You know, I guess I just expected better from gamers, but
really,
well,
not really. Gamers don't have the most social skills.
That's true. A lot of them are sketchy. I mean, why do you think they make the bad karma decisions on lots of games? Like, why is that even an option? Because some people are sketchy.
So that there's good karma options. There has to be a contrast.
Does there, though?
You can have one without the other.
So you're saying you can't have the light side without the dark?
No, not yet.
Okay. You're holding me back right now.
Biggest Call of Duty streamer, Nadeshot, Optic Gaming's Nadeshot,
yes,
who is the co-owner of Optic Gaming, who used to play competitively for 7 years, was on Twitch until last year, where he moved exclusively to MLG. Mm-hmm. This is right when Ghost came out, I believe, and Call of Duty was finally garnering a whole bunch of viewers. So almost every time he would stream on Twitch, he would get upwards of 25,000, 30,000 views.
Wow.
Just on his channel personally.
Yeah.
So there's also all these other Call of Duty players that stream at the same time.
Yeah.
When he moved to MLG, there was no longer a COD scene on Twitch, so it was all on MLG. So it lost a whole bunch of viewership. Because when you're on Twitch and you're scrolling through things to watch and it says Call of Duty, you're like, oh, why is there 60,000 people watching Call of Duty. I'm going to go figure out what's on. As opposed to going to a completely different website, which you wouldn't normally find.
Yeah.
Nadeshot says that his biggest regret was switching from Twitch to MLG.
He regrets it?
Yes. He thinks, personally, he has stunted the growth of the COD scene and the viewership.
On Twitch, because he left.
In a whole.
Oh.
Because he left. Because he was the most popular.
Yeah.
And because he left, he brought half of those viewers with him to MLG. So they wouldn't watch on Twitch anymore. So all the old players wouldn't get any views.
Yeah.
So they had to move to MLG to get the viewership. But it stunted growth because nobody would find it. So now he moved over for a money deal because on MLG, whenever you run an ad, I think you get more percentage than you do on Twitch.
Yeah.
And you have to run an ad every 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Like a 30-second ad. So he moved over there for financial reasons, which is not, I don't blame him at all for that.
Right.
But his biggest regret is going from Twitch to MLG.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have canceled their contracts with MLG and are now streaming on Twitch again. With Black Ops 3 coming out, which I think is going to be more popular than Ghosts or Advanced Warfare.
I think so too. That's my prediction.
I think the scene's going to grow. But Nadeshot is still in contract with MLG.
How long the contract lasts?
That might be until the end of this year. He has 2 million subs on one of his YouTube channels. He has 2. So he has 2 million on one of them, and I haven't checked the other one. But he has a big viewer. He's the most popular Call of Duty streamer. And then he switched, so everybody hated it.
Yeah.
And now he regrets it because he felt like he stunted the growth. Personally.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we make decisions and they don't pan out the way we want. But
they pan out the way he wanted, but just not for the scene.
Yeah, true.
I have one more thing.
Okay, tell me.
And then you can get into your thing.
I can unleash the floodgates of Star Wars.
Oh, 2 more things. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
MLG Finals 100th event was this past weekend. It was in New Orleans. They call it MLG NOLA. NOLA.
NOLA.
Before I get into that, Yahoo was in talks with MLG, I think, to buy out MLG.
Really?
So, as everybody knows, Yahoo, nobody uses that anymore.
Some people use Yahoo.
For what?
Finance.yahoo.com.
So just for finances.
Yeah, because there's some Yahoo has some nice features that allows you to like it has a stream of like all the major websites for financial markets and things, and it streams it all together with market data going on at the same time. So it's kind of like a nice resource for that, which has nothing to do with the topics of our podcast.
Yahoo used to be popular. It used to be one of the only websites.
I know. It's where my first email address was made.
Mine too. My Facebook email is a Yahoo email.
Mine too.
Because I made it so long ago.
Yeah, that's my first
But
one.
Yahoo isn't doing anything anymore. MLG is falling by the wayside, I think, the website, because a lot of people are going back to Twitch.
Yeah.
And because now MLG isn't just professional Call of Duty streamers, it's now like this guy named Rice Gum.
Yeah.
And like he gets 12,000 to 20,000 viewers every time he streams.
Yeah.
But he plays Call of Duty, but he mostly like chat roulettes with people. Like, he doesn't play video games, and a lot of people that go to MLG to watch video games, like, hate this guy.
Yeah.
And I hate this guy.
You hate this guy, specifically.
I haven't watched him. I've watched him once, and I hated it.
You hate the idea of him.
And I don't understand how he gets so many viewers.
That's dumb.
But it's not like a video game channel.
Wait, so he doesn't stream video games, he streams him going on chat roulette?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Like, he'll play, like, Advanced Warfare every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's mostly, like, chat roulette and, like, stuff like that.
I'm not impressed.
So,
I mean, do you think there should be one overarching like organization that is kind of like the organizer behind esports?
No.
So like how the NFL like they do everything for football in the United States,
right?
Like, should we have an organization like that for gaming?
No, because there's so many different games. Because that's more like the NFL does football, but the NBA does basketball. So there's that many different games.
So you think there should be organizations for each game that is competitive?
And there kind of is.
And that's how it is right now.
Activision has taken over the esports part of Call of Duty. Yeah. So the developers doing esports now. Blizzard does all their esports.
Right. And they do a good job of that.
Yeah. So everyone, all the other people that make the game is in charge of esports, essentially. Yeah. So that could be how it is.
Yeah.
But MLG is getting less and less viewership because Ghosts sucked. Call of Duty Ghosts sucked. And Call of Duty Advanced Warfare sucked. So not people don't care about it, especially in this time of year when the game's been out for the rest of the year and nobody has seen and nobody plays it anymore.
Yeah.
MLG is losing viewership. So it's kind of dying. So it's weird that Yahoo is talking to them and they're going to try to revive it, but Yahoo is also in the same boat.
Yeah. I think over the course of the last 10 years, Yahoo has been slowly fading.
It used to be number one.
Huge.
And now it's nothing anymore.
And I know they put this is like business news, but they did buy a bunch of, like Baidu or like some Chinese version of Amazon went public in the U.S. and they started trading. And they bought a huge share of it, and then it ended up like failing.
Tanking.
Yeah, I mean it's not gone now, but like the value of the stock they bought just like plummeted because they were like lying about the way that they like shipped or something, or there was some sort of scandal where they were like shipping products that weren't actually what they were. So it was some huge scandal, and then Yahoo like sold its shares and lost a bunch of money. So
anyway, so back to the MLG 100th event.
Yep.
Like I said, this is the 100th event. It's been doing this for a long time. At the event, there was Dota 2, there was Smash Melee and Smash for the Wii U, Smite, and then Call of Duty. So there's 5 different games.
Dota.
There is some spoilers. I'm going to talk about who won over who. So if you haven't watched them or you plan on watching them, spoiler alert for the winners of these.
Yeah, skip forward like a couple minutes.
I don't watch Dota. I don't watch Smite. I didn't watch Wii U. So
okay.
So the winner of Dota was Team Secret. They beat Evil Geniuses in the grand finals. Smash U, Nairo, Smash U as in Wii U version of Smash 4.
I got you.
Nairo beat Zero.
Interesting.
If you remember last week, we talked about Zero, how he's an undefeated king. He hasn't really lost a tournament since.
We did.
At the Big House 5, Nairo came in second to Zero.
Nice.
So Nairo has officially beaten Zero.
There it is. He's been dethroned as the unequivocal king.
Well, he's been beaten. I don't know.
Now he's been beaten.
So we'll see what happens next tournament.
Yeah.
Smite. Elevate got first place over Team Eager, got second place.
Mm-hmm.
Melee, Two of the Gods, Hungry Box beat Mewtwo King.
Nice.
And then Call of Duty Optic Gaming has beat Denial. Now, Optic Gaming, of the MLG events, there was 15 MLG events this year, I believe, and Optic Gaming got either first or second in 14 of them.
Wow.
They also won the most tournaments of any COD, of any Call of Duty game, the whole season.
Yeah.
The only two, they've lost a lot. They've won a lot. They've lost a few. There's only one where they got like 7th place, and that was at COD Champs, which is where they play for $1 million.
Oh, wow.
So they got 7th place for that. However, there was a list of like top winning players, like 1 through 10. And the first 4 were the 4 players that won Champs, so they all got $100,000. The next 4 was Optic Gaming, and they also all have $100,000 just based on wins throughout the season.
Wow.
So COD Champs, you can win $100,000 personally, $400,000 for your team, but there's so many other tournaments that have a high prize pool.
Yeah.
So you can win money that way too.
Yeah. So there's not just one way to do it.
Right. I had it on here. Elevate got 3rd
yeah.
in Call of Duty, but they also got 1st in Smite. So that's one of those teams that are on both sides. Play 2 different games.
Mm-hmm.
Denial Esports is the same way. Liquid Hungry Box. Liquid, I assume, is in Dota 2. Something like that.
I heard some bad news happened to Hungry Box recently. I saw some tweets about it. I don't know if it's true or not, but he tweeted about it.
Yes, tell me.
Apparently, somebody hacked his bank account, and he lost a couple $1,000. I saw a tweet about it. He was not very happy about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that at all.
I can't remember if it was this week or last week, but yeah, apparently he lost some money because he made a big old message out to whoever it was and gave him a big old bird.
Big old FU.
Yep. Big old bird.
I haven't seen that at all. So
Tony can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading it from his Twitter account.
Okay. So this concludes the news portion. Guess what's next?
All right, so Star Wars is now.
So Star Wars is now, children.
Star Wars Episode 7.
Collect your thoughts.
Trailer 3.
Poster came out.
Poster first?
You want to talk about the poster first?
Sure, we can talk about the poster first. One of the problems that I have in my life is that I love Star Wars a little bit too much.
Can you confirm?
Some people, I think, find... some people might think it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, super obsessed where I, run around dressed up like Star Wars characters all the time.
But if you could...
But, I mean, if I had a Han Solo jacket, that's pretty sick.
Like a leather jacket?
Just like the one from the movie. like Episode 5. That jacket's pretty sick. I do have some Star Wars decorations up in my house.
I don't know what that even looks like.
See, and that's why I know that I'm more excited to talk about this segment.
There's this one that I bought you.
Yeah, Tony, as a gift, was a graduation gift?
It was
I can't remember what it was.
I saw this at Target. Justin would love this gift.
Yep, and so Tony gave me a nice Han Solo Chewbacca comic cover as a
which
nice
isn't canon anymore. So,
which, I mean, no, that's not even from a real comic strip anyways, but it's still sick. Still love it. Thank you for the gift.
It's
so Star Wars, I think some people find it difficult to relate with me on it, which is fine.
Which is why I'm here.
And some people are like, well, I don't know if I can be friends with them because I don't like Star Wars. You can be friends with me if you don't like Star Wars. I don't talk about Star Wars all the time, but if you want to talk about Star Wars with me, I'm going to love you. I'm going to be like all about it, and I'm going to talk to you, and it's going to be a fun conversation. So,
people told you they didn't want to be friends because you talk about Star Wars?
Well, no, I get the feeling that some people are hesitant to, like, try and connect with me because they feel like, oh, well, it's when it's like a friend group situation, and they're like, oh yeah, he loves Star Wars, doesn't he? Like, and if they don't like Star Wars, they feel like they can't approach me about it.
That's your thing when people say, oh, this is Justin. He loves Star Wars and has a beard.
I mean, honestly, that has been what it is before. Like, when I worked at camp for a summer, like, I was known as the Star Wars guy and the guy with the beard. Like, seriously, that was what I was known as. So, that was interesting. But on to the poster. So the poster was dropped.
You're in a safe spot here.
I am loved by people. Not Tony, though, because apparently I don't like Sword Art Online. I think it's the worst thing ever.
No.
And he hates me for it.
You don't think it's the worst thing ever?
I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I've seen many animes and Netflix shows that are way worse than that. I just don't really... I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it.
Have you played Heavy Rain?
Stop it. This is the Star Wars section, gosh dang it. We're talking about Star Wars now. Poster dropped. When I look at the poster, a couple things that I noticed just straight off the bat. First off, in the top right part of the poster, there is a basically Death Star.
A thermal grenade.
It's like, I mean, it looks like a thermal detonator, but it has looks like a giant cannon in the middle of it. Looks like a Death Star. So that's interesting. I mean, up to this point, there were rumors that there'd be a new super weapon, which I referenced from the Star Wars Aftermath book. We talked
Galaxy Destroyer.
Yeah, it's like a solar system destroyer or whatever. I don't know if this new weapon is the Starkiller base, because some people were like, yeah, it's a Starkiller base. Like, okay, I don't know.
Do you think it's a base, or do you think it's a weapon? Or is that the same thing?
It can be both, because Death Star was a space station, so it is a base of operations, but it also was a super weapon. So, that looks like they're repeating the trend of having a super weapon to fight against in this next movie. Diabolical use, of course. I'm sure at the very minimum, we can expect that it can destroy a planet, right? I mean, that's the bare minimum. This is Star Wars we're talking about, right?
I guess.
Like, why would they spend 30 years building another Death Star? Like, why wouldn't you improve it and make it cooler? Like, you would definitely make it cooler.
What if it's not a weapon? What if it's like a jewelry run?
What if it is a grenade?
It looks kind of like...
what if it's a grenade that somebody just, like, holds, and so, like, it's in a scene and they zoom up on it, and then this whole poster thing has just been J.J. Abrams, like, messing with everybody.
You know, it kind of looks like a Pokeball.
It kind of does look What? What if they find...
What if inside the Pokeball is King Kong and Godzilla duking it out?
And they're duking it out with atomic breath. Nice. So, Death Star might be a real thing, again. Probably won't be called a Death Star, but who knows, it might.
A Killer Star.
Another thing in the poster that I think I can connect to the trailers is that Luke Skywalker is absent from the poster.
Tardy.
He's tardy. He's absent. We
Teacher
know
jokes.
There it is. We know for a fact that Luke Skywalker will be in the movie because he's listed as a cast member, and we know that he almost died in Ireland.
Mark Hamill is listed.
Mark Hamill is listed in it, which I don't know.
You would assume he would be.
I would assume he would be.
Why would they get Mark Hamill back if it wasn't Luke?
I know. There would be no reason unless they had the Joker in the movie.
Or the Trickster.
Or the Trickster from The Flash, which will be an episode coming up soon. We're going to be talking about The Flash.
Yep.
So, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker is not in the poster. There's a Death Star in it. Those are like the two big things I thought that were surprising. Which leads into just a general observation about all the trailers is that Luke Skywalker isn't in them.
Except for his hand.
And it's like we see his hand, we think it's him. I think it makes sense that it would be him with R2-D2 putting his hand on there, but we don't know for sure. We don't see his face.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of like a preview that I think the whole premise of the movie, like a general theme that they're going to be doing, is looking for Luke. Right? So there are all these different characters. There's Rey.
Is that
Finn?
I haven't seen this. Is that the story behind Star Trek?
Trying to find Luke Skywalker?
No, trying to find
I don't think so.
Spock or whoever it is.
Because
I know there's some time travel business going on.
there is some time travel
business. I know there's a guy lost in a cave.
There is.
Is that the whole storyline for Star Trek? Because J.J. Abrams also did that.
Sort of. I mean, the Star Trek, the first Star Trek movie that J.J. Abrams did, Nero, which is the bad guy, travels back in time, and he waits for like 15 years trying to find...
That sounds useless.
Captain Kirk. And destroying the Enterprise. But no. Not destroying the Enterprise. Trying to destroy Vulcan. And he's waiting for Spock to grow up, and then he's going to kill Vulcan in front of Spock to pay him back for losing Romulus in the future. It's like a weird...
This means nothing to me. I've never watched Star Trek.
I'll make you watch it one of these days. So, anyways, we have Luke Skywalker not being found. We're assuming that... I mean, the assumption most fan theories are getting together and saying, yeah, that Luke is like a character maybe at the end of the movie that we're going to find, like after they've looked for him for a while. But, I mean, just the name The Force Awakens, we're assuming that people are now becoming more Force-sensitive, or there's characters who are becoming Force-sensitive, and they need training.
Well, in the trailer, they talked about, like, the Jedi and Sith and how they're, like, mythological.
Right.
So how they're, like, stories of the past.
Yeah.
And how, like, people don't believe it anymore.
Yeah, so, like... In the news trailer, and that's a unique thing about the third trailer that wasn't in the other ones, was it kind of showed like the idea behind, or like the culture behind it now is like nobody knows. Nobody knows what happened to the... Like, we all know, and I think a lot of us assumed that the movie would be like, everybody knows that the Jedi, like Luke is the last Jedi, everybody knows that the Emperor was defeated this way, everybody knows that Darth Vader turned back to the good side. But that's probably not what happened, and that's probably not what's going to happen. Probably nobody knows what really happened, other than the Death Star blew up. Everybody's going to assume Darth Vader was evil at the end, which then leads to, like, Kylo Ren being, like, this weird worshiper dude of the Sith, which is what's probably happening. And so that's why the First Order, first off, thinks that the work of the Empire is incomplete, because they don't see the reveal that, like, everything is evil, perhaps. And they might just still see the Empire as, like, a bastion of order and power, instead of being, like, this evil Sith stuff.
Okay, time out. Star Wars Episode 4, when that came out,
yes,
it was a standalone movie.
It was.
Do you think this is going to be a standalone movie, or do you think that because there's movies slated for the future, this is going to be like a cliffhanger? It'll be like any of the movies that have came out recently: Hunger Games, Harry Potter, Twilight. Right. It's all part one of blah 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 blah, instead of just a standalone movie.
I mean, I think it's going to be my prediction is that it will be a standalone movie that'll have like the main plot of the movie. I think will be completed within itself. It'll be like a finished story, but with lingering things that will be picked up in the next one. Just because of how J.J. Abrams has done the Star Trek films. Like the first Star Trek film, like they had planned on making another one. They were planning on making 3 of them.
Yeah.
They knew there were going to be sequels. They were on the books. But they, in both the first one and the second one, they completed the story within itself. And sure, there are some themes that can keep traveling forward. And I think Star Wars will probably have some like heavier themes that will be more apparent, that will transfer from movie to movie. But I think it will have a complete story within this movie. That's my hope. I hope it's that way. I hate it when like...
Is that a new hope?
It's an old hope. It's an old hope I've had. This is awkward. I hate it when movies do that, where they just like drop off the ending, like the Hunger Games Part 3, Part 1. You know, like the third movie, Part 1. Like they end it, and I was just like, "This is the ending. This whole movie, nothing happened."
Yeah,
I was so mad. So I'm not even going to probably go see the second one. I was so mad in retaliation to them for doing it that way. So
I doubt they'll notice.
We're
missing 1 ticket sale.
We're missing $9.75. That guy, he got me. Some more things that the new trailer, I think, set in stone was that Finn is a turncoat from the Empire or from the New Order to a rebel. I think it's pretty clear now with him. Like, it seems pretty obvious that he has the Stormtrooper armor on, then he takes it off, and he's, like, reacting to a terrible situation when he takes his helmet off, and he's, like, freaking out. Then we see the TIE fighter falling to the planet.
Wait.
What?
So he takes his helmet off.
Yeah.
Essentially, like in Toy Story 1, when
Uh-oh.
Buzz Lightyear, it comes off,
starts choking. He's like,
to bring this back to Toy Story.
So Disney owns Star Wars now.
Yes.
Maybe that scene is throwback.
So you think?
I doubt it. I mean, he's not suffocating in it. He just took the helmet off it. But
there's a scene where TIE fighter is shot down and is landing on a planet, and
crashing to a planet.
And I assume that's Finn.
It is. I mean, that's the assumption, I think.
And somehow he survives.
And we see him like walking through the desert towards Crater Town, which is the name of the town that Rey is in, as has been revealed. So we know, like, there was some rumors after the first trailer that maybe Finn is a spy, and not like a turncoat. But it's definitely he's a switch sides, I think. So and with the text saying that, like, he's speaking, he's like, I was raised to fight, or something, like I was raised to fight this one way, and now I have nothing to fight for. So that kind of goes along with that. There's a character named Maz who isn't in the trailers. It's a CGI character. But there's some buzz on the internet right now about the castle that she has, or the home that she lives at. We see, like, Han Solo taking a couple people there. There's, like, a walking robot and a bunch of flags, like, hanging down. Like, that's called Maz's castle, apparently.
Okay.
And later on in the trailer, we see a battle going on where these, like, X-Wings are coming across the water, spraying up all this water. And
it looks awesome.
And it looks sick. The rumor is that fight scene is taking place in the ruins of Maz's castle, because it looks like the territory around it, like the topography, is the same. Now, we know a whole planet can have plenty of different types of, ecology, topography, right? You can have, like on Earth, we have deserts and mountains and forests and plains. But in Star Wars, we don't do that. You have one topography for one planet, right? Hoth is an ice planet. Tatooine's a desert planet. Endor is a forest moon. Like, there's just one topography for the whole planet. So some people think Maz's castle might be the scene of some fighting later.
What does that even mean? Like, how is that relevant?
I don't know. It's just a prediction about what the movie's going to be. Starkiller Base, which is the place where the Empire, or the New Order, is based out of, where we see them all lining up in a Nazi-esque fashion, like with the dude talking. Has a trench in it in one of the scenes, which is kind of interesting. Don't know. I bet that's just a throwback. I doubt they would do the trench run again. Like, that can't be the way they blow up this new Death Star. If it is, I would be upset. Like, that's cheap. You got to do it different. Yeah. Like, even Episode 6 did it a little bit different. Like, it wasn't a trench. It was like a under construction Death Star, and they had to fly through all the scaffolding and stuff, and like, that's fine. They can't do that.
There was, to go back to Starkillers, or the Death Star or whatever, someone online was talking about how it might just be a planet that he's built his base into, and there's a giant super weapon on it.
Yeah. That could be it, too.
It could be cool.
I feel like that'd be easier to do than build a giant space station the size of a moon.
Yeah. But it's less mobile.
It would be less mobile. It would be. And, if you take it out of its orbit,
then what?
Then does the planet die? Like, the weather and the atmosphere and, like, all the gravity. Like,
exactly.
There's a lot of science issues going on here. There's a scene in the new trailer where Poe, who is the rebel pilot-looking dude, he's obviously in pain or something. He's in an emotionally tight situation, and you see Kylo Ren kind of like having his hand in front of his head, and it's only like 2 seconds, less than that. But what we see is Poe either in like 2 situations. Either he's in extreme pain because he's being tortured, or he's like angry and he's starting to yell out of anger instead of pain. Which I know it's like a slight distinction, but the rumors are that either he's being tortured because he's captured and he's a good guy for sure, or he's being turned to the dark side by Kylo. Which would be so crazy because he's a rebel pilot.
So important?
Well, apparently, so like the theory is that
he's a Teletubby.
He is a Teletubby. He is not a Teletubby.
I'm pretty sure one of their names is Poe.
Poe Dameron?
Is that? Do they call him by his full name all the time, or just Poe?
No. Probably just Poe. Poe and Rey and
Teletubby.
Finn. These are some fun names. Poe and Rey and Finn.
Anyway, why is Poe so important?
Well, I mean, apparently he's supposed to be like the new Han Solo character, where he's like the rogue. So he's like filling the role that Solo had, with like Finn and Rey being like kind of like Luke and Leia in terms of like the role they play in the story. I don't know exactly what it is, but it could be interesting if he turns to the dark side. I'm assuming he's just captured and tortured because that's that, but who knows? Another theory I read online, which I don't really believe, but it could be true. Who knows? This is speculation. Luke Skywalker is actually the leaders of the Knights of Ren, which are the bad guys we see surrounding Kylo Ren, who's a leader, we're assuming. Or up to this point, I've assumed Kylo Ren is the leader.
A general?
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
Well, some people think that maybe after all this time, like, Luke has been corrupted by the dark side, because obviously the Skywalker line is able to be corrupted that way.
Yeah, but Anakin got corrupted because he was led that way from the Emperor.
True.
So who would lead Luke?
I don't know.
Because technically it's just one person in the line has been corrupted.
True.
Whereas if Luke didn't be...
the Skywalker line is Anakin and then Luke and Leia, because Anakin was not born of a man, he was born of the Force and... What's her face?
I don't know.
Shay from Tatooine.
I have no idea.
Because, Anakin doesn't have a dad.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
Immaculate Conception.
It is. I mean, that's essentially what it is supposed to be like. So that's that.
But technically, it's in Luke's favor then, because Leia didn't get converted to the dark side.
We're not. I don't think Han Solo would hug her if she was on the dark side, which is in the trailer.
What?
Like,
why does Han Solo care?
Why does Han Solo care? Dude, Han Solo's a good character.
Han Solo doesn't believe in the Force.
He does now. It's all true. It's in the trailer. By the sixth episode, Han Solo believes in the Force.
Yeah, but would he really believe in, like, the dark and the Sith and be like,
yeah, I think so. By the sixth episode, I think he is. I think he's convinced. So the next three, well, really, there's two spoilers or predictions that I think might ruin the movie for you if it's true, because it's a spoiler. Like, this is like huge. So the first one,
huge, but I think you've already talked about it.
I mean, I've already talked about it. Have I talked about this? I've not talked about this yet. Not on the podcast.
Like, when the first episode came out, when the first trailer came out, we talked about this one specifically.
Okay, this one specifically, we have talked about before.
The other ones we have.
Either, from this trailer, we see Rey is crying over something, and it looks brown.
Over a body that is wearing a jacket
or it's fur.
Yeah, but if you look at it, it doesn't look like.
So it's either Han Solo or Chewbacca will die in this movie. I have no idea which one it's going to be. I'm guessing it's Han Solo, and that was the prediction earlier. And I hope, God, please no. I love Han Solo. But
First of all, I think Han Solo needs to die. Harrison Ford doesn't even want to do this. Second of all, there's been a specific video I watched on the Star Wars jacket speculation.
Yeah.
Hashtag jacket speculation.
Yeah.
Who's trying to analyze who that is.
Yeah.
And they pretty much wrote off it's Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Is someone wearing a coat, like a leather coat?
Yeah.
Like Poe is wearing?
So it's either Finn, Poe, or Han Solo, because they all have jackets on, and there's no way it's Poe or Finn, because they're new characters who need to be developed. I mean, I think it'll be Han Solo. That'll be a bigger emotional punch in the face, and, like, Han Solo... Harrison Ford wanted Han Solo to die in the original trilogy.
In the first one?
Yeah, he thought his story arc was over, and like that would have been it.
Right.
So I think it kind of fits that. And Han Solo, like, Harrison Ford is the oldest of the older cast. He was in his 30s when they recorded Star Wars, in the original ones, and the other guys were like in their 20s. So like who knows if he could even make it to the 8th or 9th movie?
Could be Luke. Luke could wear an awesome cool guy jacket.
Seriously, Han Solo though probably would die. The next one, and this is the one that dawned on me after the trailer and after doing some internet sweeping. Kylo Ren.
Yep, the evil guy.
And Ren, the scavenger chick.
Ren or Rey?
Rey.
The girl?
The girl.
And the guy with the lightsaber that looks like a sword.
Yes.
Like an actual sword.
Brother and sister.
Ah!
Ah! Star Wars, it loves making these family twists. Right? Luke, I am your father. It loves that. I'm guessing
I'm your sister.
They're going to try and do that.
Think they're going to kiss?
No, I don't. I hope not. Yeah, so that's my prediction, that they're brother and sister. They're both solos, is my guess.
You think they're Han's kids and not Luke's kids.
I think they're Han and Leia's kids. I don't think they're like Luke Skywalker's kids.
So you think they have the Force because of Leia?
I think so. That's what I think.
Was Leia ever shown to have the Force?
Well, Yoda confirmed that she has the Force.
Okay.
In Episode 5 and in 6, he makes comments saying, "No, there is another Skywalker." So Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, he's our last hope," and then Yoda's like, "No, there is another," and that's Episode 5.
That's referring to Leia.
That's
not Anakin.
Yes, and this is like Episode 5. Empire Strikes Back. Luke leaves Dagobah from training too early, and that's the only reference to it. And then in Episode 6, when Yoda is on his deathbed, he reveals that there is another Skywalker. That's what he says.
And it's Leia.
And he's like, Leia. And then he's like, your feelings serve you well. Like, you know who it is. I think Obi-Wan confirms it too. So we see that those are the last two Skywalkers. I think it makes sense that Han and Leia, if they're not married, they at least got together and did the dirty. And they had... At least twice. Or they're twins, which would follow the expanded universe storyline, which they had twins in the expanded universe.
But then
it fits with Luke and Leia being twins.
It's brother versus sister, as opposed to
father versus son,
brother and sister versus father.
Yeah,
which also would be a good reason why Rey is so sad that Han Solo dies. Exactly. Again, I think Han Solo should die.
Yeah, because I don't want him to.
Yeah,
he's my favorite.
Listen,
he's gonna die.
This movie isn't going to have a big punch. It's not going to have a big draw.
Yeah,
unless a main character dies from the old movie.
Yeah.
Because if they just keep him coming back and back...
Right, well, they can't. I mean, they have to pass the torch.
Yeah.
I don't want this movie to be Han, Leia, and Luke defeat the Empire again. I don't want that.
Right.
Because they're all old, and it makes no sense. I want them to pass the torch, and I think that's a realistic thing. I'm just going to be so sad, because Han Solo has been, like, one of my favorite characters... Forever, since I was a kid.
There's a scene where Finn is... about to duel it out with Kylo Ren.
Yes.
And he has a blue lightsaber.
He does.
So you think he might be trained by Luke?
I think the idea is that maybe, my guess, is that Finn found or got a hold of Luke's lightsaber. Because if you look at the hilt when he holds it, it has like the black horizontal lines on it that make it looks like Luke's lightsaber. So my guess...
So are lightsabers that individual?
Yes. Each Jedi makes his own lightsaber.
What about in the kids in Episode 3, and they all have lightsabers?
Well, they're not a Jedi Knight until they make their own lightsaber.
Okay. So these are just training sabers?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Training wheels?
Yeah. Okay. You have to make your own to be a Jedi. At least that's
so then why the F does Darth Maul have the best friggin' lightsaber ever?
Because he's a Sith Lord.
Why the heck does nobody else do that?
I don't know.
I want to see a ball and chain. I want to see a flail.
I want to see a chainsaw. Chainsaw.
Why have no one made these?
I don't know. Either way, I think that theory of them being brother and sister makes sense with how Kylo Ren approaches Darth Vader. Or should I say, Vader. I messed that up. We had some punniness going on. Vader.
Okay, so you think Kylo Ren...
Yes.
Oh, that's super weird. You think Kylo Ren is the son of Han Solo and Leia.
Yeah.
Therefore, Darth Vader would be Leia's father, which would mean it's Kylo Ren's Grand Vader.
Grand Vader. Yep.
So you
think
he's obsessed with that.
And so he wants to finish the work of his grandfather, which he has no idea, Grand Vader, he has no idea that he turned back to the good side.
I'm picturing a Darth Vader mask with a big white beard coming out of the mouth.
And like him wearing like a Christmas sweater with like Kylo Ren as a baby like on his lap, like, what do you want for Christmas, little boy? Except for more Darth Vader-y and scary.
More James Earl Jonesy.
Yeah.
So you think he's obsessed with Darth Vader because he thinks Darth Vader is evil and had a plan? Or do you think, I don't think we thought about this before,
we haven't.
Han Solo dies, Kylo Ren wants to revive him, so he goes down the path of Darth Vader because Darth Vader wanted to do that too.
Maybe. That's an idea. That's a theory.
So Rey obviously would just accept it, I guess?
Maybe. When we don't know how people accept grief, like deal with grief differently. So the question is, I think we'll know the answer to this within like the first 20 minutes of the movie, probably. If we see Kylo Ren as an evil character in the very beginning, then we know.
Then you know what?
That theory doesn't work.
Why?
Because Han Solo's still alive in the beginning of the movie.
You don't know that. Han Solo could die in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
He should.
No, he won't. That'll be the climax.
No, that would be the whole reason for them to start the whole whole story.
Han Solo is going to help Finn and Rey find Luke.
Luke?
That's my guess.
Chewbacca can do that.
Chewbacca is a supporting character.
Chewbacca's going to be there the whole time, and I'm okay with that because Chewbacca's awesome.
Chewbacca is the bomb, but he can't drive the story by himself. He literally just
he's an assistant.
Ululates.
He's
elations. He only growls.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So if you're not a Jedi Knight or a Sith Lord
yep.
until you make your own lightsaber,
yeah,
can anyone pick up that lightsaber and use it? Like Finn?
Yeah, I mean anybody like Han Solo picks up Luke's lightsaber on Hoth to cut open the tauntauns and put them in there. So like anybody can use a lightsaber, but like it's like a rite of passage is that you've made a lightsaber. It's not like
time out.
Uh-oh.
How warm is the inside of a tauntaun?
I don't know. How warm?
Lukewarm.
The Star Wars name surreal.
Oh no.
That's so good.
Okay, so you think Finn? Why would Luke not have his lightsaber? Do you think Luke dies and then it gives his lightsaber to Finn?
How many lightsabers did Luke Skywalker have in the original?
Good question for you, because I would not know.
He has two. He starts with a blue lightsaber that was his father's. Then he, on Bespin Cloud City, gets his hand chopped off and has the scene where he's like, "No, that's impossible!" And it's like really bad acting, I guess.
And he drops it. From Cloud City.
So that's how he loses it. And then in the 6th episode, we see that he has a green lightsaber. And Darth Vader is like, "Oh, impressive. You've made your own lightsaber, basically." And Luke's like, "Yes, come to the light side." Darth Vader's like, "No, yo. No.
No, yo.
No, yo." That's the paraphrased Justin version of how Star Wars went down. So the idea is that somehow, I mean, if Kylo Ren can get Darth Vader's mask and that be a thing, then I'm sure someone can get a hold of Luke Skywalker's old lightsaber and get it.
So you don't think that Luke has his old lightsaber with him?
I think Luke will still have his green lightsaber, and I think the blue lightsaber is going to be found by Finn. Somehow it's going to be given to him, maybe through that Maz character, maybe on Jakku, because it's a scavenger-type planet. Maybe they've scrounged it up since some trap or something.
He loses the blue one on Cloud City.
Yeah.
Where does that drop off to?
I don't know.
As far as I know, it's just a gas planet.
Right. Well, we know, I mean, from that scene, there's a bottom to that. Like, it's a big chasm in the middle of the Cloud City, and then there are trash shoots out from it, right? Because he, goes through all those tubes, and then he, falls out, the bottom of Cloud City. So, I don't know. Maybe he got caught on something.
And but then he's holding on to the upside-down satellite thing.
Yeah. And
then under that, it's just gas. I assume it's a gas planet.
Yeah. Well,
so did his lightsaber fall off of that?
I mean,
to a trash chute?
His lightsaber didn't fall with him. It fell before him, so we don't know where it goes.
So you think it might fall into a trash chute?
Yeah. I mean, if Darth Maul is still alive in the Star Wars universe, after he gets cut in half, then I think they can find a freaking lightsaber, which I'm still upset about Darth Maul being alive. He is dead, thank you. Same thing with Boba Fett, even though people are going to be mad about that. Boba Fett's dead. Darth Maul's dead. That's a repeat from the last podcast we talked about Star Wars.
Boba Fett's coming back. He's coming out of the sand trap.
There is a Boba Fett flag at Maz's castle.
I saw that.
So,
about to flag.
But I don't know if that's just an Easter egg.
I don't know.
Probably.
This is interesting. I think okay. So let's speculate.
What have we been doing?
So let's agree that Kylo Ren and Rey are brother and sister.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think it makes sense.
Rey would then be looking for her uncle.
Yes.
With Finn. Because Finn crash lands on Rey's planet.
Yes.
Somehow convince Rey to go and do things.
Yeah.
At the same time that her father shows up.
Yeah.
At this point, Kylo Ren is evil.
Yeah.
Trying to do evil things. Yeah. Han Solo says, "I know a guy."
Yeah.
They start Ocean's 11.
Essentially.
They go and find Luke wherever he is. Somehow Han Solo knows that. I assume.
Or he's just trying to help. Who knows?
He has a Skywalker signal he throws up in the clouds.
Yep. The space clouds.
So Finn and Rey go find Luke. Maybe Luke dies.
Maybe.
Maybe when they're finding Luke, Kylo Ren follows them.
Yeah.
Kills his uncle.
Yeah.
Kills his father.
Yeah. Oh man, a double punch?
Rey is sad.
Yeah.
Finn picks up the lightsaber. For some reason, thinks he can fight Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Although he's never touched a lightsaber before.
Right.
Things happen.
And
they go their separate ways.
They get away. They get away
somehow.
I wonder if Luke will die in a battle against Kylo Ren, because if Luke has become the Obi-Wan character,
you think he'll just
maybe he'll do something like that. I mean, that might be too cheap, but who knows? And maybe Luke will be a ghost character by the 8th or 9th movie. We don't know.
Do you think there could be a really cool scene where Luke and Han Solo are fighting Kylo Ren?
That would be sick.
So Han's shooting
from
a distance, and Luke is up close, and Kylo Ren is blocking the blaster shots as well as fighting Luke at the same time.
Yeah.
However, Kylo Ren's lightsaber looks super heavy. It's like a claymore. I don't understand how he could do anything with that.
Well, I'm assuming the light part of it's pretty light. A part of it's light, so it's not gonna be heavy. Just the hilt that will be.
I don't know.
So that's Star Wars. That's the new trailer that just dropped and has already broken records in the first.
Oh, we didn't talk about this.
Yeah,
they're selling tickets on eBay for $1,000.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 4 tickets right now to opening night. In the first day, so they have records of box office sales, like pre-box office sales before the movie comes out. And in the first day that the Hunger Games would open, they had the record of having $1 million worth of ticket sales the first day that it became available. Pre-sales, yeah. Okay. Star Wars, on its first day of pre-sales, $6.5 million. So 6 times more than Hunger Games in pre-sale alone. I'm pumped.
So people are pre-ordering this movie.
Yeah. I mean, at the local theater next to me, the first day, opening night's already sold out. All the different, and they have like 4 or 5 different times, and they have 3D versions and 2D versions, and all of them are sold out. So, again, I'm sitting on 4 tickets. I might just sell some of them and make
sell all of them. Make $4,000. You can
and then go see it the next day.
To see it the next day.
I don't know though.
It comes out on the 18th.
It does. I'd probably.
What day is that?
Thursday, take a day off of school then.
Thursday, Friday.
Thursday is the 17th. That's when I'm going to go see it at 8:30, and then
17th. Okay.
The 18th is when it officially comes out. I don't know why they still say the release day is the 18th. I remember back when they actually were midnight releases, it made sense to call it it dropped on the 18th, but it's really dropping on the 17th since all those theater shootings.
So you can watch it at 8:30 on the day before.
Yeah, on the 17th. So.
However, I don't think. How does that stop people from theater shooting? Because the theater's still packed at 8:30.
I have no idea.
Is it just? Oh, I'm awake.
I think it's just
I'm more awake at 8:30 than I am at midnight. So if I see someone that looks sketchy walking in, I'm like, hey, don't walk in there.
I don't know. Either way, that's what we got. I think that's all I've got to talk about Star Wars. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really.
All right. Well,
next week we will probably talk about The Flash, season 1. Some other things.
So if you,
I hope last episode. We didn't say what we're going to talk about because this is not on the books. We're not playing this.
We're almost done with backlogged episodes. You know it's backlogged if it doesn't have
the theme song.
The theme song that's so wonderfully made. All the feedback we got, every single bit of feedback we got, said it was positive. And I say that because
the theme song.
The theme song.
I haven't seen. Is that only stuff that you've written yourself?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen this.
Yeah, there's been no feedback, so I'm just saying it because I gave myself feedback, and it's good. So if you hear the theme song, you know it's the newer stuff. I think we only have 1 episode backlogged left. So if you like what we're doing, if you want to comment, ask us a question, propose perhaps themes or ideas that we could talk about in our podcast, feel free to send us an email or tweet at us. Our email address is underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter is
@UPGamersPodcast. Oops.
So we're also on SoundCloud, so feel free to comment on there. And we'd love to hear back from you. So thanks for listening, and tune in next week for...
We can talk about other things.
Other things that are going to be talked about.
Maybe.
The Flash, maybe. Eventually we'll talk about The Flash. It's going to happen eventually.
That's the plan. Okay. Thanks for listening.